Do you have rules for your child's homework? Do you tell them homework must be done in the living room before dinner? And then you're wondering why your child is so frustrated, why they're so fidgety, and why it's so difficult. Well, chances are that the environment you provide for your child just isn't in line with their unique learning style. Hi, and welcome to It Takes a Village. This is a podcast where parents and schools come together to raise happy, resilient, and thriving children. And in this particular episode, we're going to dig into learning styles, what they are, how you can identify them, and when you do, it's going to make a tremendous difference for your child's learning journey. So let's dig in. There are many different frameworks for looking at learning styles. One of the most common ones is to think about learning in terms of visual, auditory, or kinesthetic. So now think about your child. Is your child someone who remembers pictures, who likes to draw and doodle? If they do, chances are that being a visual learner is their dominant trait. And you can support that by providing markers, diagrams, and pictures. If your child is someone who likes to listen to stories, needs someone to discuss learning with in order to reach deep understanding, maybe they're an auditory learner. And then you can be that person who listens and who responds when they speak about their understanding and what they read. Many children also need to use concrete materials and to move, and perhaps being a kinesthetic learner is their dominant trait. They might need blocks, something to fidget with, and to get up and move quite frequently. Many kids actually need to move every 5 minutes or so. It also depends on their age. But the moments breaks don't have to be super long. In fact, just getting up and moving for about 1 minute can make the world of difference. Another framework that can be used to identify learning styles is sociological preferences. Teachers usually identify this early on, where some children prefer to work on their own, while others prefer to sit just with one friend and be in pairs, and others yet want to be in a large group where there is lots of discussion and talk back and forth going on. And then there are some kids who need an adult close by, someone who can confirm that they're on the right path and doing the right thing. They like to check in and know that what they do is correct. There are many layers to learning styles. And here is something that can make a huge impact. Factors in the environment. Now, I want you to think about yourself. Let's say you're reading a novel, just for your own entertainment. Where would you be doing that? Would you be sitting at the dining table? Or would you prefer to be slouching in a comfortable armchair? And then let's say you're working on your bank account. Would you do that in the same environment, or would you change that up? The thing is that something as simple as just your posture, whether you're sitting up straight or slouching, can make a huge difference in terms of how effective you are with the particular task. Part of the environment is also sound. Some people can work perfectly well in a noisy environment, while others need complete silence. I remember one of my old students in grade 6 when I was an English teacher who really struggled to be focused and to sit still and read. Together with him, we experimented and reflected, and it turned out when he had music going on in his ears, everything changed. For most kids, that's not the case, but for him, that worked beautifully. Many classrooms actually have noise counselors that the kids can get up and grab, and they can then just put them on and create the silence that they need to be effective. So we spoke about sound, but then there's also light. And it's known that mathematics is best done in daylight, while reading often happens in a more warm light, in a cozy environment, as long as you can read the text properly, of course. There's also the time of the day. We talk about morning people versus night people, because we all have a particular time where our brain kicks in and tends to become more effective. So are you reading together with your child at night and that's not working for you? Try to change that up and read in the morning instead. Chances are that that's going to work better for you. Most of us don't have just one learning style. In fact, we have a mixture. For example, we don't just learn from pictures, we also learn from stories. But we have a preferred style. And when we know what our learning preference is, we can arrange the environment to support our learning. And in that way, we can be more effective. And in fact, it's quite fun to reflect upon yourself and notice when we are effective and when we're not. And then try to change it up and experiment. Try it for yourself too. I'm sure you're going to learn a lot about yourself. And as always, have fun with it. Thank you for watching and bye for now.